Hello, welcome, ladies. Welcome to day 3 of the Become a Rich Woman 5-day training for women entrepreneurs. I'm so glad that you're joining us, and I'm just going to check, make sure I see everything online here, make sure I see us live. Okay, yes, I see it. Okay, we are now live, ladies. So welcome. So this is day 3, and this is so exciting. We have an amazing guest, Rosetta Thurman. But before we start, I just want to let you know how the interview is going to go so you understand how I will be doing this. So basically, what's going to happen is this interview is also going to be used for a podcast episode. So I am going to interview Rosetta straight through. And then when we are done, then there'll be a Q&A. So ladies, make sure you write down your questions as they're coming up during the interview so you can ask Rosetta at the very end. And now we are going to get started. So again, welcome ladies to day 3 of the Become a Rich Woman 5-day training series for women entrepreneurs. We have an amazing guest. I'm over the moon about Rosetta Thurman. She is a creator of the 6-figure Queen Mastermind, and I'm going to let her tell you more about herself. But welcome, Rosetta. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Yolanda. I love being interviewed, and I love being interviewed even more by my clients. So, Yolanda is actually a member of our Six Figure Queen Mastermind. She's one of my elites, and it was a pleasure and an honor to be invited to be here and talk about becoming a rich woman. It is quite a journey. And do you want me to start off by sharing a little bit about my journey, Yolanda?
Oh, please do. Please do.
Sure. So I have been in this online business game since 2007, 2006, if you count MySpace. But I put myself out there, and an entire world of impact and influence and wealth opened up to me. I started out in the nonprofit field. So I was working a full time nonprofit job. I was a fundraiser and a leadership development practitioner. And I started blogging. I started sharing my articles online around 2007. And by 2008, people had started asking me to come and speak and do workshops and do trainings and go to conferences and do consulting and then do coaching, which I didn't even know what it was at the time. And all of a sudden, I had a business. I accidentally became an entrepreneur. And it was the greatest experience of my life because I saw what was possible. I saw that I could make up my own job. I could speak and teach and do the things I love to do. And 2 years into this, doing this on the side while I was working full time, I decided I think that I can do this as a job. I can do this full time on my own. And if I can't, I'll just go back to a job. That was in 2010, and I have not had a job since. I am officially unemployable. and
Sounds good.
I spent the last 10 years um, doing a variety of things: career coaching, personal development coaching. And now what I do is focus on helping Black women manifest the life and business of their dreams. I started out with career, I went into personal development, and now I'm in business. And I kind of combine all the things that I love to help Black women with in my business. So it's about freedom for me. It's about happiness. It's about success and wealth, continuing to grow and grow and grow for the rest of my life. And so becoming a rich woman is very resonant with me. And I'm excited for all the women who are on this journey as well.
That's beautiful. I love it. I love it. And I know that you are a life and business coach. And what is that? What is a life and business coach, and why is what you do so important?
Well, a lot of people, they give a lot of, I don't know, thought to their label. And I think that, being a life and business coach just means that you help people get to where they want to be in their life and in their business. And it's as simple as that. And I noticed what people were coming to me for. A lot of the work, Tony Robbins has this saying. He says, 80% of success is mindset and 20% is about strategy. And I definitely agree with that. So much of what we want, especially when it comes to wealth and business, is in here. It's in your head. It's about believing that you're worthy of it, believing that you can do it, and then you can implement the strategy that your coach gives you or your mentor gives you or that you learn from a course. I often tell my clients that, when your mindset is not in the right place, multi-billionaire Oprah herself could hand over her business plan to you on a silver platter and you wouldn't do a thing with it. You wouldn't implement it. You wouldn't do anything because I can't do what Oprah has done. I'm not this, I'm not that, blah, 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 blah. And it would be wasted because you don't have the right mindset. So the life part covers mindset, goal setting, all those beliefs that we need to address. And then the business part is how do you actually strategize around building wealth in your business, getting clients and all that. That's the strategy piece. I love them both and they're all intertwined.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see that for myself as a woman entrepreneur. Like, mindset is so, like, my mindset determines so much. And yeah, and I know that that is a huge, huge, huge chunk of that. Yeah, definitely. And so I was wondering, what's it like, a typical day like for you as a rich woman entrepreneur? What's it like?
I love this question because when you are a rich woman, um, you can do whatever you want during the day. And I think that all of us have different preferences of how your day goes. And so my day often depends on what time zone I'm in. I mean, except this year, and every year in the last 10 years I have been traveling, throughout the year, so I'm often in different time zones, whether it's Hawaii or Europe, East Coast, West Coast. And so I wake up at different times depending on my time zone. Right now I am on the East Coast, I'm in Connecticut, so wake up around 7 and I take the mornings for me, whatever I feel like doing. Usually it's the music, so I tell Alexa to turn on my music. I have to make sure she's not actually Sorry, doing it. I don't know that. See, she's listening all the time. Thank you. No, Alexa. Want to try it? No.
She's ready. She's ready for your
No.
instructions.
I need to rename her. So I tell her to turn on the music, and then the whole house fills with music. And I might light candles. I might, read some personal development books. I might just sit. I might just sit and be still. But the mornings are for me. I really don't get started working until 9 o'clock. So I had breakfast. I had my oatmeal, have my water, take my shower, get dressed, and that's my morning. I love the thing about having money and being successful in your business is that you get to spend your time however you want. So you don't have to get up first thing in the morning and you're running your computer and things done. I can, chill and get on at 9 o'clock and see what I want to do. Maybe I don't want to start until 10. I don't let my coaching calls start until, 9 or 10. So if it's a coaching day, like yesterday was a coaching day, Tuesdays and Thursdays are my coaching days. I started at 9 a.m. with coaching calls, and I had coaching calls, every hour on the hour. And then I have a lunch break and then continue with my calls. I, create content for myself. And then, I have dinner. I made dinner last night. We had pasta, me and my honey bun. We watched an episode of The Office, which is our thing now. It's either The Office or Seinfeld lately. And then, depending on, what's going on, I might do some things around the house. I might go back into doing some work for myself. I might read some more. I might listen to music. It's just about what's going to be relaxing for me as I ease into the evening. So that's what a typical day looks like now. If I'm in another country, I'm probably not going to work until late afternoon, and I'm going to go out during the day and do some sightseeing. If it's a Friday, I'm not doing any work, scheduled work. I'm going to get my hair done. I am going shopping. I'm getting my nails done. I am, just allowing myself to do whatever I feel like doing. We're doing pizza and movie night later on a Friday. So it really depends. Like, the way I look at my schedule is, what needs to get done in the business and how can I organize that throughout the week. On Mondays, I do my team meetings. I might have a couple more team meetings on a Tuesday, but it's never overwhelming. I never have too much going on in any given day because that doesn't feel good to me. So a typical day gets to be whatever you want. But for me, I like to spread things out throughout the week. Certain days are designated for certain things, and Friday is all mine.
Wow, sounds fantastic. Yes, that sounds like so much freedom, right? Being rich allows you the freedom to create your schedule, your life, and your business exactly the way you want to do it. And so what are some action steps that you would recommend for our listeners on how they can become a rich woman entrepreneur?
Oh, I have so many. I have
Mhm.
a year's worth of action steps.
Okay.
But I would say that the main things that I see that are big shifts that women can make in their business, especially women of color, is raise your prices, ladies. If you want to be rich, you have to charge accordingly. If you want to be rich, you have to charge accordingly. So, the biggest problem I see is women out here charging, $10 here, $50 there, and wondering why the bank account, doesn't have, six figures in it, or 10K a month at minimum, because your prices. If you only are getting a few clients a month, you got to raise your price accordingly so that you can make the kind of money that you want to make with a few clients a month. I don't need that many clients to make 10K a month because of the way my prices are. So whether you're doing coaching, consulting, some type of done for you work, whatever it is, you need to charge accordingly. And the best way to do this is to give your clients the best that you got. Some of you are selling a little ebook or a little online workshop, and that's fine. But is that the best of you? Is that the highest level of support that a client could get from you? Is that the highest level of transformation that a client could receive from you? No. The highest level is probably you working with them one on one on something where your time is very valuable. And some women say, "Oh, well, I don't want to work that closely with people." Well, you don't want to make a lot of money, because the people who make a lot of money work closely with their clients to get them results. Do you know how much Tony Robbins charges for coaching? $1 million a year. $1 million a year.
Wow.
And the
Wow.
people who pay that, they know that it's worth it for him to be in their corner and have this transformation. These are people who end up making millions and billions of dollars down the line. So if Tony Robbins just gave you an ebook a month for $1 million, it wouldn't be worth it, right? You'd be like, this dude is about to catch these hands, right? If Tony Robbins gave you an ebook for $1 million every month for a year, what is the level of value that you can provide that would be worthy of thousands of dollars that you can charge for your clients? So raise your prices, but give value accordingly. You're not going to charge $1,000 for an ebook, ladies. It's never going to happen. Never, ever, ever going to happen. So give your clients the best that you got and raise your prices. That is how you become a rich woman in your business. And so that's the biggest thing. The second biggest thing is to track your money. Track your money, track your money, track your money, track your money. It's amazing to me, astonishing even, how many women don't know the basics of tracking their money, which is just what's in your business bank account. What came in this month? Well, I don't know. I gotta do this. I gotta look at this. No, you don't. You just have to look at what came in, and it's not even like I don't know how to push the buttons and look in my business bank account. It's the mindset comes in again. We don't want to look at the money, and when you don't look at the money doesn't grow. You don't know where you're at. How can you know where you're going? Some women think they're doing better than they are. Some women think they're doing worse than they are. But without the accurate information, you can't make informed, educated decisions that a rich woman would make. Um, and so, can I give an extra tip?
Oh, definitely. Please feel free.
So, the extra tip, so raise your prices, track your money. And the third one is pay yourself more. Pay yourself more. That's why you need to raise your prices. You have to pay yourself more. There are women who have been working their business for 3 years and never paid themselves. Huh? What? Doesn't make any sense. The reason why you have to pay yourself more is so that you can accumulate wealth personally aside from the business. The business, I know so many women, their business is booming. They're making six figures, multiple six figures, have no savings, have no retirement, have no investments, can't buy a house. Does that make any sense? to be serving all these people, helping all these people, making all this money, but you have nothing to show for it. Not a nan thing. And that comes from mindset, right? You have to know that you're worthy of not just making the money, but keeping the money and letting it accumulate over time so that at some point you can stop working if you want to and be able to live off of the money that you saved in your business from your business. And so this is the main reason why you can't be out there depending on $10 ebooks. $10 ebooks are not going to pay for your retirement or even your kids, college or, your family members, whatever. Some of you are taking care of parents and all of that. And you're working all this, all this time, all these hours for your business, and yet you're broke. If you're an entrepreneur, there's no reason for you to be broke because there's no cap on your salary. If you're the boss, so if you don't have money to pay yourself, what's wrong with you? What kind of boss are you? You're the most terrible boss ever. So that's why you need to, pay yourself. Just being able to get the best of everything, the best school for your kids, the best health insurance for yourself, the best long-term disability, all those things that I know Yolanda talks about in her work. It takes money for that, ladies, and to get money for that, you got to charge more. And so raise your prices, track your money, pay yourself more so that you can take care of yourself long term.
Wow, thank you so much, Rosetta. Yeah, it's so true. All those financial things are so key to this. And yeah, I was wondering, where were you born? And please tell us some more about yourself, where you live, where you come from. Tell us some more about you.
Well, I was born in Ohio. I'm a Midwest girl,
Ah,
and my mom had me when she was 16. So my grandmother helped to raise me. So that's where I think I got my old soul from. She would play
right.
records, and so I grew up listening to Natalie Cole and Smokey Robinson and all of that. So all my clients, they say I have a very old soul. In fact, most of my clients are older than me. I turned 38 this year, I think. I'll be 38 in December. Um, and my mom married a military man, so we traveled when we were younger. So we left Ohio when I was like 10, and we had blizzards in Ohio. I wasn't uh, mad about leaving. I wanted to get out of the snow anyways. So we lived in Hawaii for a little while. We lived in Guam. We lived in the South for a little while, and then when I graduated high school, um, I knew I wanted to be an English teacher. That's what I really wanted to be. And so I majored in English. I moved to Virginia, went to school there, got a nonprofit job in DC writing grant proposals because apparently being a writer doesn't pay a lot of money. So I had to monetize my writing skills. So that's why I got started in the nonprofit world. Is being an English major, they wanted somebody who can write proposals, and I learned, hey, you can monetize those things that you love, the things that you're good at. Just might not be in the exact way that you thought it was going to be monetized. And so many, even in business, women are chasing after the way that they think it should look and leaving so much money on the table. Like, yes, I wanted to be able to write a book of poetry and make $1 million. That's not happening. It wasn't happening. It was never going to happen. But I could take those same writing skills and help some nonprofits with their mission, help some kids, help some neighborhoods by writing proposals that bring them money. And so that's how I got into that whole world. But yeah, I'm from the Midwest, and my partner, I've been with him for 5 years. He's in the military, and we have been traveling around from Hawaii to California, Virginia, and now we're in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of background of me.
Okay, you're quite the traveler. Right. And even when you were younger, you seem like you moved around a lot and you've been a traveler ever since. And yeah, and so I know one of the things I admire, and I know so many of the ladies that do know you, that you have traveled so much. And how did you manage to do that? How did you manage to swing that early when you started your business? And how did you manage to keep that as part of your business?
Yeah, well, I think that a lot of times when we have our vision of starting our business, we have an idea of what it's going to be like. You know, entrepreneurship can be very sensationalized, glamorized. You're going to be on a private jet and all these things. And then you realize what I said earlier, all of these things take money. Everything costs money. Everything. Everything is the currency. Dollars, dollars, dollars. You need them. So, I quit my job in 2010, and the freedom was there, but the money wasn't there to do the things I wanted to do. So of course that was very motivating, but at the same time, I'm sitting in my studio apartment in DC where I was living at the time. I quit my nonprofit job, so I was still living in DC. I was working in DC. And I'm like, man, I'm glad that I, have replaced my salary. But when you make the same amount of money, but you're working for yourself, you have additional expenses, right? That you didn't have when you were working for someone else. So now I pay my own health insurance. Now I have to, you know, um, I have things for my business I have to pay for, right? So that comes out of my money that I'm making for consulting. So I'm paying for my website stuff, my graphics. I had a virtual assistant I had to pay. So I'm like, I can travel, but I don't have a lot of money to travel. So how can we navigate this? So I decided that I was going to start traveling at the level that I could. And so I started traveling on a budget. And so I think it's really important for women entrepreneurs not to delay their happiness. If the reason why you started your business was to spend more time with your kids, you got to start spending more time with the kids. You got to carve out time to do that. Otherwise, it feels like, what's the point of being an entrepreneur? I might as well go back to a job if there's nothing extra that I'm getting from this experience. So I said, okay, cool. I'm going to start traveling next year. So I got a speaking gig in Hawaii, 2011. I'll never forget this. I was like, y'all going to pay me to go to Hawaii and speak at your conference, and you go pay for the plane ticket and my hotel. It was like a dream come true. This nonprofit conference. And I said, this would be a great opportunity for me to stay longer. So I said, hey, can you guys like buy me a plane ticket to go there and then have the return be a month later? And they're like, cool, no problem, right? It's the same price. I'm just coming back later. And I have to take care of my lodging after the conference. And I was like, cool. So that was my first long-term trip. So I'm here in Hawaii and I'm like, I cannot believe this is my life. I was hanging out with the people I met at the conference. I didn't know anybody there, but I made friends, through the conference, and I made all these connections. And I'm like, I wonder if I could really live here like full time. And it was a thought. It was a thought. I gave it a little bit of attention, but I was like, I have to go back to DC. So I went back to DC and I was like, man, I really want to do this again. So I had to get my money together. I wasn't making six figures yet. And I said, next year I'm going to do another month long trip. And this is what I'm saying. For the lifestyle that you want, there's always a level that you can attain. I can't travel, months out of the year, but I can do 1 month. So I said, next year I'm going to Europe. All right. So I started with a month in Hawaii. The second year I did Europe. And I said, I'm going to go to Greece, Italy, and Spain. Oh, my dream places I wanted to go. So I
Wow.
mapped it out. I priced it out, how much it was going to cost. And I couldn't stay at the fancy hotels yet. So I stayed in hostels. And I'll never forget, in Greece, I went to Santorini, Greece, for the first time. It was the most gorgeous place I've ever been. Gorgeous. Food is amazing. The men are hot. Just saying. Um, I had to stay in a hostel with 12 other people. It was like €20 a night. I was running low on money. I was like, I'm going to Greece. Like, I'm going, even if I have to stay in a hostel with 12 other people. And it was the most amazing experience. And that motivated me to make more money, because if I make more money, I can travel better in more luxury, more style. And so the year after that, 2013, I started to build myself up, make more money. The year after that, in 2013, I took another trip. I went to Thailand for a month. So every year I was doing these month-long trip things. And then 2014, I hit six figures. And I think I did several trips that year. I was in Hawaii at the time, and I spent a month or two in Mexico. It just kept getting more and more. The more money I made, the more experiences I gave myself. 2015, I started flying first class, and it's just been constant from there. But what I'll tell people who want to have a certain experience and a certain lifestyle of being a rich woman, you've got to build up to it. You can't just say, well, when I make it, I'll start traveling. When I make it, I'll start. You got to have a level of it that you're experiencing now. If you want designer bags, you want a Louis Vuitton, you want a Birkin, whatever people are doing now, start with a Coach, start with the Michael Kors, whatever it is. You got to give yourself the experience of being a rich woman before you make it, because that's going to help you make it faster.
I've learned that from you. You're so inspirational with your example. I really love that. And I was just curious, what is your favorite book and why?
My favorite book.
Mhm.
Honestly, these days my favorite book is my journal. It's like I'm
Oh,
writing my life story. I'm writing out the story of my life and how I want it to be and all of that. So honestly, my journal is my favorite book right now. But in terms of the book, there's several books that have inspired me, but the one I've been thinking about lately is The 4 Hour Work Week. The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. It was one of the books that inspired my journey of becoming a rich woman. And I say inspired meaning that I saw someone else doing it and I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. I mean, he was a young white guy. I didn't see anyone who looked like me at that time. This was back in 2009, 2000. I mean, it was very early on in my journey that I whenever the book came out. Uh, and I was like, a 4 hour work week. That sounds great. I mean, you know, 4 hours, 4 days, whatever. It was just like you get the opportunity to create your own lifestyle. He was traveling the world and having all these experiences and working online and making money online. And I think that anybody who reads the book will get inspired just because it's someone writing about that lifestyle that most people would say, oh, that's crazy. You'll never be able to do that. You got to work hard and work until you're, 95 like every other American and just be happy with what you got and take the crumbs that people give you. And, people worrying so much about what's going on in the world and we forget that we can create our own world. And so a bonus book would be The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. The Alchemist talks about living your legend and chasing your dream. And again, it has travel in the book. Travel has been so transformational for me. Every penny that I would spend on travel, I would spend, tenfold because it's been so transformational to me. So, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho really talks about how you can have a purpose and you can chase it all around the world, and you'll learn so much from the journey, and that you can build worlds in your mind. You can use your imagination to manifest something that most people only dream about or see in a magazine. And I think that books that help you tap into that, along with your journaling, it really can transport you to a whole other world of wealth that other people can't understand and will never understand. But as long as you get it and you're in that world, you can keep moving forward.
wow, wonderful. Yeah, I haven't read either of those yet, but they're going to go on my list now, definitely. Those are two. Yeah, and so you shared so many amazing things. Um, so I wanted to ask you. Also, you gave us a lot of great advice about women entrepreneurs, but what's the main thing the best piece of advice you give women entrepreneurs about becoming a rich woman?
Well, knowing what I know now, like if I knew then what I knew now, it's kind of like the work that you do, Yolanda, is so important. Helping women maximize their money, because I didn't learn until years into it that I needed to track my money. I didn't figure that out, and no one told me, because in the beginning I didn't have a coach, I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have anyone guiding me. I was just learning things on my own. And so I would say get support, get a mentor, get a coach, get several in different areas. Some people they take one course and they're like, oh, I'm done now. And it's like, you made a couple sales. This is just the beginning of the journey. You've got to have a team, a support team, and you've got to have people in your corner, especially people who understand money and understand how to manage it. I mean, I'm learning so many things every year about money, about maximizing my money, about making sure that I can make more money. Like every year, I'm learning more and more. But if I had this, earlier on, I could have made so much more money. I could have made so much more money and made it faster. So it's really about becoming like having mastery with your finances, I think. And I say that, just honoring the work that you do also, Yolanda, and also just looking at what I wish that I had known years and years ago. I didn't even know the importance of a business credit card. I didn't have a business credit card in the beginning. I had to get one. I didn't have a real business credit card until like 2014, which was like 4 years into working for myself full time. I had one. It had like a couple $100s on it, but like you need a real business credit card where you have a line of credit that's at least 10,000, so you can invest in different things that you need. You're gonna need coaches, you're gonna need mentors, you're gonna have to hire people to do things for you, and you don't always have the cash flow on hand. And the way you do your business finances is not how you should the way you do your personal finances is not how you should do your business finances. So while you may be debt free in your personal life, like I have very little debt in my personal life. I paid off my my student loans. I have very low expenses personally. But my business requires a lot of money for it to run and everything like that. And so all my business expenses go on a credit card. I didn't know that I needed to have that in the beginning. And so like the work that you're doing, Yolanda, and the series that you're sharing here, and the information that you share on a daily basis, just about managing your finances, can be the difference from a woman, earning six figures to a woman paying herself six figures. If you don't know where your money is going, and how come I can never pay myself? Take a look at your finances. Look at where you need to be managing things, right? And it's not a strong suit for me at all. I hate it. There's no other way to say it. I do not like looking at finances, at numbers, but I see the difference in how much I'm able to pay myself now. I used to pay myself $3,000 a month for a long time. That was how much I paid myself. Today, I pay myself $9,000 a month, and I'm about to give myself a raise. So, ladies, keep following Yolanda, keep doing the work of maximizing your money, and that's how you become a rich woman faster than you have been.
Thank you so much, Rosetta. And so I wanted to ask you to bring our interview toward a close. Where can we find you? Where can the woman entrepreneur find you?
Well, I'm easy to find. I'm Rosetta Thurman everywhere. Rosetta like the Rosetta Stone. So I'm on Instagram at Rosetta Thurman. And you guys can join my Facebook group, Scale to Six Figures with Rosetta Thurman. You can find me on Facebook there. And you can also check out all my programs on my website at rosettathurman.com. I'd love to connect with you. If you follow me on Instagram, don't be a lurker. Just say hi. I found you through Yolanda's Summit. I'd love to connect with you.
Beautiful. And those will be in the show notes for this episode. And just the last thing, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us before we start moving into the Q&A?
I just want to share that it is a privilege and a blessing, and I'm so grateful that we have this opportunity to be together through technology, through Zoom, through Facebook, to share this information. It's like women supporting women, queens helping queens. And I think that however you all are experiencing this today, like think of how you can pay this forward, right? We need more of this. We need more sharing. We need more women, exchanging information that's going to help us all rise, help us all win, help us all become rich, because it's not about just getting all the money that you can and like hoarding it in your house by yourself. It's about paying it forward so that other women can be wealthy, because when women have money, especially women of color, we don't need to participate in all that other stuff. I mean, we create our own economies, we create our own politics, we create our own institutions, we create our own communities where we can thrive and we can grow and we can keep it going. And so I just say, if you guys are inspired by this, if you're inspired by what Yolanda's doing, by what I'm doing, think of how you can do this in your own way and keep paying it forward.
Sounds beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rosetta. Oh, it's so much wisdom and perspective and nuggets. It was just beautiful. And so, ladies, like you have heard from Rosetta, right? You heard a lot of what she was talking about with your money, your business finances, your personal finances. They require different mastery levels and different things. And so now it's time to bring it all together. So, why don't we connect? Let's book a call. a complimentary call, a business setup clarity call, where I can help you get clarity on your business, what you need to help set it up, and how you can become richer faster. So I'm going to include that link for you here in the group. And that's also going to be in the show notes. And now, ladies, we're going to open up for Q&A. So I'm going to check the group now and see what's happening here. Let me go to the group. Let me go to my group. Okay. All right. Let us see if what's happening. Okay. All right. So Deborah Jones, let me scroll to the right area. Okay. She's saying yes, yes. Okay, ladies. So if you have questions, please start posting your questions so Rosetta can answer. And then Patrice says we have to get comfortable with charging our worth. Tanya says hello. Hello, Tanya. And Deborah says, hello, Rosetta and Yolanda. So, ladies, this
Hi,
is your chance to ask
ladies.
questions.
Good to see everyone. What questions do you guys have for me?
Okay, ladies, I am checking to see if there are questions. I'm refreshing. I'm checking some more. Okay, because Rosetta has some golden, a few moments here to answer some questions, about maybe 10, 15 minutes. So I'm just checking, ladies. I'm not seeing anything.
Can I talk about questions?
Say that again, please. Oh, what's happening with you in 2021? Deborah's asking.
What's happening with me? That is a big question. Do you mean what am like with my business, like with where I'm going to be living? I don't know. I'll give you a encapsulating answer. So 2021, I'm very excited about. There's so many programs that I'm going to be leading and teaching for 2021. We have an amazing mastermind group that I'm focusing on, the Six Figure Queen Mastermind. And that's all about helping women get to six figures cash in their business per year so they can pay themselves ultimately a six-figure salary. Um, I'm still living in Connecticut. I'm still going to be in Connecticut with my honey bun. He's going to be retiring in a few years, and this is our last duty station, as long as the Navy doesn't change it, which they could. But I'll be in Connecticut. I'll be on the East Coast. I'll be running all these amazing programs. We have about a program a month coming out. Um, and I'll be leading the mastermind. Those are the main things that I'm focused on. We're going to continue doing virtual events into the second half of the year with everything going on. We're taking that approach. So we have a few virtual events coming up in the first 6 months of the year. I think that, in general, I think it's really important for all women entrepreneurs to plan out their year as far as possible. At the minimum, planning out the next 90 days. So always knowing what's coming in the next quarter so that you know where your number one, you know where your money's coming from. And number two, so that you can organize your life around it. So it's not a surprise that, hey, I need to make some money this month, or hey, I'm kind of, behind on my goal that I had. What am I going to do about that? Like, you always have a plan and a rolling plan that can be adjusted based on what's going on, right? So this year we had plans for 2 retreats. We were supposed to do Hawaii and um, Italy, Amalfi Coast. Oh, we were not able to do that because of COVID-19. And who knows what's going to happen next year? I don't know what the countries are going to do. They open the borders, they close them. I don't want to have to deal with that, changing things again. So I think that knowing what your plan is going to be allows you to pivot when you need to. So we pivoted quickly to virtual events. And so for you guys who don't have a plan yet for the last 2 months of the year, like having a plan for what's going to happen for that, I always know what is coming. I always know what's going to be happening. And if you don't know, that could be a reason why you're not making the money that you want to make in your business. Because if you want to make $10,000 in November, how's it going to happen? If you would make another 10,000 in December, how's it going to happen? And what a lot of women do is they're like, well, we'll see what happens in the new year. Um, The new year is going to happen regardless of what you do. So you have to decide what you're going to do. It's not to see what happens. It's I have these things lined up. They may change, they may shift, they I may move them around, but I know what I'm going to do. It's not to see what happens. It's I'm going to put out this program. I don't know how many people are going to join, but I'm going to put it out. That's my commitment. That's what I'm going to do in my business. So anyway, hopefully that helps. And Deborah, if you join my group and you're in my group, you will see all the amazing things I have coming up for 2021.
Okay. And then you have another question, Rosetta. So another question from Deborah Roebuck. How much do we need to make to consider ourselves rich?
That is a personal question. I think that so many of us as women, we look to external sources to validate us or see, rich is what you think it is. Every woman has their own level of income that makes them feel rich. And for me, being rich is about freedom. It really is. Being rich is about freedom. It's not about accumulating a certain amount of money. It's not about having a certain amount of money. Now, my freedom looks different than your freedom. For me, freedom is about being able to have a desire, something that I want, and being able to have the money to do it without having to think about it or save up for 2 years to get it. Like whatever I want, I can get. That is freedom to go into a store and buy whatever I want and not worry about the cost, the price, or having to go to the sale rack. If I want it, if I see it, I want it, I get it, right? That's the Ariana Grande song, The Seven Rings. I see it, I want it, I get it, I buy it, just put it in the bag, right? But it's my freedom. I also, I'm not a big fan of like, a lot of designer stuff. Like there's some things I like designer, but I bought one pair of Jimmy Choo heels and I was like, what do people see in this brand? I'm throwing these things away. I had some Louboutins, same thing. I can't walk in these things. I'm not buying them. Even though I can buy them, right? So that's not what being rich is. It's not being, draped in labels or, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're a fashionista and you like that and your feet can handle it, go for it because they're beautiful. But they just sit in my closet. I donated my Jimmy Choo's. My Louboutins are so cute to look at though, so I keep them in my closet. But it's not about having everything be a label or luxury or expensive, but the things that you care about. Like I care about travel. I will drop 10,000 on a trip. I will not drop 10,000 on a purse. You will never see me do that. But that's because it's my value, what I value. Some people will be like, oh, I can just stay with my brother. I'm not going to get a hotel. I get a hotel every time I see my family. Why? Because if I don't want to deal with them, I don't want to have to deal with them. So I don't care if my mom has 3 spare rooms. I'm staying in the hotel down the street. So it's certain things that make you feel rich that you can do that to me it's about freedom, the freedom to choose, to freedom to choose and not have to do something I don't want to do because I don't have the money. Having to be around people I don't want to be around, having to work with people I don't want to work with, having to be in relationships I don't want to be in because of money. So that's what being rich means to me. And it has such a meaning for me when it comes to women of color is a lot of us stay in bad situations or miserable situations because we don't have the money to get out of them. And being able to say, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be here. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna be subjected to that. I'm not gonna deal with this because I have my own money in the bank and I don't need to deal with you in order to make money. You know, that's being rich. That's being wealthy. That's having freedom. And so for some people, it's having a big house. I never wanted a house. Now I want a house, and it's the kind of house that I want. I want a beach house in Florida. It's the warmest place in the U.S. without going all the way to Hawaii, which would be far from my family. So what kind of house do I want? Well, I want 4 bedrooms. I want this thing. I want and not having to settle for, oh well, we got to get this one because it's cheap. Or we have to move to Houston, Texas. Somebody told me, why don't you want to go to, why don't you move to Texas? It's cheaper. You go to Houston. There's a lot of black people there. And it's like, because I don't want to live in Houston. I don't want to be in Houston. Nothing against Houston. It's just not where I want to go to Florida. So I'm going to take my money to Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like, Houston doesn't have the beaches that Florida has. Why would I go somewhere just because it's cheaper? That's the kind of decision that you don't make as a rich woman. You say, here's what I want, and here's what I'm going to have. And that's what it means to me.
Wonderful. You have another question here. We have another one for you, Rosetta. So, Joyce Lynn, she's asking, what would you say is a first step to creating a progressive social media presence?
Progressive. I'm not sure what that means. Progressive is, to me, it sounds like um, you're talking about like more of a social change type of thing, or like, I don't know, people. Progressive makes me think, maybe because we're in this political season, it makes me think of like progressive versus conservative or something. I don't know. uh, but I can tell you about how I've built up my community on social media, if that's helpful. So, um, you got to show up. That's the main thing, is you have to show up. You can't expect people to follow you for any reason if you're not showing up for them on social media. And you don't have to be everywhere. You can just be on Facebook, you can just be on Instagram, but wherever you are, be there. Show up there. Have people be able to see you. I have lots of different platforms now. In the beginning, I was on Twitter, like 2009. It was Twitter was like the main place to be, so I was always on Twitter. I was always visible on Twitter. And then things transitioned to more Facebook. And so I was always on Facebook. Now people are on Instagram. Now I'm on Instagram. It's like wherever I am, though, I'm there. I show up. I post. I connect with people. I follow people. They follow me. You can't, go on there and leave for 3 months and it's like, oh, I'm back now. You cut off that flow of connection. And so the biggest thing is showing up and being consistent. And whatever being consistent means to you, doesn't mean you have to be on there all day every day. You wouldn't get any work done in your business, but you have to show up for your people, and they'll keep showing up for you.
Okay, thank you, Rosetta. So let's see. I'm seeing if there's anything else. Joyce Lynn said she's catching you while at work on her break. Deborah Roebuck said thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, and Joyce Lynn said as well, she was the one that just asked the question. She said, sorry, I'm a clinical psychologist and instilling change in those who choose to follow me is a goal. So I guess she's trying to clarify on the question. Um, well, ladies, are there any more questions for Rosetta? We have a few more moments. Chanel said, "Thank you so much for sharing." Yes. Yeah, ladies, this is your chance. This is your golden opportunity, ladies. Any more questions for Rosetta before we start to close the interview? I guess we'll give it a couple more minutes. Let's
Well, I
see.
will say, about to follow up on the social media piece, that if you want people to follow you, you got to give them something to follow, right? So if you're a psychologist and you want to share, um, different types of content to have people follow you and get value and then lead them into your business, you got to give them value, right? It can't just be, I went on a walk today. You have to also give value and say, there are 3 things you need to do if you're dealing with depression from COVID. Here are 3 things that I recommend for my clients, and if you want more support, DM me and you can book an appointment or something like that. That's what I would recommend. If you want to, provide value, you gotta come from your heart, come from your expertise, and actually give people a reason to pay attention to what you're saying.
Okay. Um, and also, so Rosetta, Patrice said, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm working and listening. Joyce Lynn said, portion I caught was phenomenal. And Chanel has a question. She said, I came in late. Is there a difference between being rich and being wealthy, or a matter of preference?
I don't distinguish between the two words. I mean, I don't have a semantics thing going on. Some people probably do. When a lot of people talk about wealth, I know they're talking more about long term things like investments and stocks and long term things that keep compounding interest over time and things like that. So, or some people, they're talking about like net worth and things like that. Um, the path is the same. The path to me is the same to all of that. I mean, when you make money in your business, you can put it to all the places where you want to build wealth, whether it's real estate or investments or savings or whatever. Like, we're always thinking about where we can put our money so that it can grow and it can help us be secure and feel safe, because that was always important to me. Like, having months go by where I don't make money gives me anxiety, so for me to feel safe, that's being rich to me. That's being wealthy to me. For me, feeling safe, knowing that I can take care of myself and pay for my bills. You know that was always a big thing for me. But when people are talking about building wealth and all that, like, you got to have the initial money to put into whatever vehicle you're using to build the wealth over time. And a lot of people, they wait too long to start doing that, and they don't have enough, they don't have big enough chunks of money to put away for it to make a difference, or they don't have enough money to buy property for the real estate. And so, whether you like the term rich or wealthy, the bottom line is you have to start making more money more quickly, so that you can start putting your money in whatever wealth vehicles you want to do. You can invest in so many different things, and in stocks and other people's businesses, and take a percentage of that. You know, whatever it is, there's real estate, there's certain areas, some are booming now, some the price is low. And so being able to have the money to put in when you want to put it in, and having the amount of money, like, some people are like, oh, I wish I would have bought Apple when it was blah blah blah. Well, you can still buy Apple. They didn't stop selling stock. You can still buy it at the price it is now, and start having that wealth start to build. So it's not about the semantics for me. It's just about, what do you desire, and what's the level of money that you want to have access to, and how much money do you want to have available when you get to a certain age, or when you get to a certain place in your life, or when your kids get to a certain place in their life. What do you want set aside for them? Do you have a special savings account for them? Do you have an educational savings account for them? Like, where do you want it to go? And then you get to experience what Deborah was asking about, which is your version of rich. You know, like, we're all defining this. There's nothing external about it. Like, do you call yourself rich or wealthy? It's whatever I want. I call myself Rosetta most days. And I just happen to be a Black woman with a successful business where I make money. So you get to design all of this the way that you want it to go.
Wow, yeah, right. Rich, wealthy. It's like lots of money, lots of assets. Sounds good to me, right? Both of them. So let's see. Joyce Lynn said, thank you, ladies. So ladies, are there any other questions for Rosetta? We have a couple more minutes here.
I'm so happy for all the questions and all the ladies listening.
Yes, me too. This is beautiful. This is so wonderful. And I'm so excited to have you here. So ladies, I'm giving another check here. Let's see if there's anything else. And if not, in 2 minutes or so, then we'll close it out. And that will be this wonderful, amazing day 3 interview with Rosetta Thurman. So let's give it a couple more minutes. And okay, ladies, I'm going to start closing it out. If you post anything, we will answer. Rosetta will answer, not me. Rosetta will answer your question. Yeah, so I think this is it for today. Yeah, so looks like that's it. So thank you so much, Rosetta. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us for this Become a Rich Woman 5-day training series. And ladies, I want to let you know, so this is day 3. Tomorrow is day 4. And we'll have Joanne Matori. She's going to be here. Joanne is a business coach and a purpose mentor. So you need to join us tomorrow. And her interview is going to be earlier. So it's going to be at 12 noon, 12 p.m. Eastern. So come back to the group and we will have day 4 of the series with Joanne. And I'm going to do one final check now to see if there's anything else. Okay. There's, okay. Another question. Okay, it says here, Joyce Lynn says, what are you most proud of in your business?
That is a wonderful question, an easy one. I'm most proud of paying it forward. I see my clients who are helping their clients, and it's just this really beautiful ripple effect. There's no way that, by yourself, you can change the world. I know it's a term that is used a lot, and when I was working in the nonprofit world, it's overused. You know, everybody wants to change the world. Every organization wants to change the world. But the truth is, you can only really change a tiny part of the world. And the biggest part of the world you can change is your world. And the people that come into my world, the women that come into my world are incredible, extraordinary, visionary, have such amazing purposes, um, talented, smart, all of that. And when I pour what I have into what they have, it just creates this ripple effect. And so they're able to go out into the world and do more. I'm proud of the fact that I get to help women be more. And so now they get to give more, and it just keeps going on and on and on. There's no taking from, it's always an adding to. And so I can only affect who's in my world, but if I'm affecting women in my world for them to go out and affect other women in their world, then it's I can affect so many more people, and I have a bigger portion of the world that I am changing through the people that I'm helping. And so I am very proud of that. It's what gets me up in the morning. It's what I smile about when I go to bed. It is what keeps me going when things get hard, because they do get hard. This year has been hard, for all of us. You know, why keep going? Why keep doing this? At any level of success, you're gonna have that come up. Like, I'm tired. This is hard. How do I keep going? I think about the women that I'm supporting, and the women that they're supporting, and the families that they're building, and the communities that they're impacting. Like, that is what I'm most proud of. When I'm gone, because we're all going to be gone at some point, that I have a legacy, that I have people that are going to be able to say, Rosetta helped me, she touched me, and in that way I live on. And the gifts that God gave me, um, they never die. They just keep helping people, and I love that.
Yeah, beautiful. I can say that. Yes, your impact is incredible. It's so incredible.
Thank you.
Um, and yeah, I can't even describe. Chanel said, "Thanks for doing this." Patrice says, "I'm going to travel and invest." Joyce Lynn has three hearts. So, ladies, yeah, that looks like it for today. And thank you again for joining us for this series.
This was
And
so fun. Thank you for
yeah, this
interviewing me, Yolanda.
Yes, I'm so honored. Thank you for being my guest. I cannot again. I don't want to cry here. Thank you. So anyway, ladies, like I said, join us tomorrow for day 4, and with Joanne, and have a wonderful rest of the day. And as always, remember, own your finances, and have a wonderful rest of the day, ladies. And thank you again, Rosetta.
Bye.
Bye bye, ladies.